Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Things That We Fear. My name is William P. Schmidt, and join us on today's episode as we dive down into the 8 most common fears people have. So recently I put a survey online. I asked people to participate and the rules were fairly simple. It was give me your age and the thing that you fear most. I got an outstanding response. Well over 1,000 people put in their answers, and as you can imagine, that was a lot to go through. Like a nightmare, you have no idea. Anyways, without further ado, we're going to work into the top 8 things that people fear the most. I've separated them into categories to make them fairly simple. So at number 8, we have supernatural fears. Now these include ghosts, aliens, cryptids, weird monsters and creatures that aren't something you see in the everyday. I did not include clowns in this because, let's face it, as much as we all hate clowns, and believe me, hate clowns, in reality, they're usually just people in makeup. That may be a psychopath in makeup, but still a person in makeup. So I didn't include clowns in this list. At number 7, we have disease. Now, nobody likes getting sick. Nobody does. But there are a surprisingly large amount of people who are scared of catching a disease. Now, I did use a wide variety for diseases. Like if somebody said that, I'm scared of getting cancer, I threw that into the disease category. If somebody said, I'm afraid of getting the bubonic plague, I threw that into the disease category. Now, surprisingly, out of all the people that responded for this particular fear, the majority of them were people in their 50s or 60s. It's not surprising when you consider that the older you get, the worse your immune system gets. So older people have a tendency to get sick easier, and their immune systems can't always handle it. Weaker bodies, weaker immune system, right? Now, for fear number 6, we have violence. This means that this is a category for people who are scared of somebody either breaking into their home and murdering them, or whether they're scared of ending up in some kind of terrorist attack. Either way, these are people who are afraid of having violence brought upon them through whatever means. I put this one at number 7, but the highest rating, or the highest people who answered that this was their fear, were surprisingly people who were in their midlife, the 30s to 40s range. At number 5, we have objects. Objects can be anything. Masks, needles, dolls. A lot of people afraid of dolls. I don't like dolls either, believe me. I mean, if you heard of the Japanese doll game, we'll talk about that later. At number 4, we have death. Now, I included 2 categories when I included 2 things into this category. Death means that you're either afraid of your own death or you're afraid of the death of a loved one. A lot of people put in that they were afraid of the death of a loved one. Surprisingly few said that they were afraid of their own death. And the majority of people who answered for this survey in this category were in their 20s. At number 3, we have spiders, insects, and other animals. Now, because this response was so high, I had to group all of these together. Nobody likes spiders. Clearly, nobody likes spiders because, other than the ones in number 1, spiders, snakes, and insects and other animals seem to be really towards the top of the list. I mean, of course, put it at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is accidents, natural disasters, and physical impairments. Now, these are for people who are scared of getting hurt in an accident to the point, like a physical impairment, where they're they're going to have to be in a wheelchair for the rest of their life, or they're worried they're going to be a vegetable, or they're worried they're going to be hurt to the point where they can't take care of themselves anymore. My plan is literally like any family members. If I ever end up a vegetable, if I can't wipe my own ass, just take me out back and shoot me. I mean, turn me into fertilizer. I don't care. And finally, at number 1, we have psychological fears. Now, in this category, I placed the fears that I couldn't really find to put in any other category. I mean, I know you could create a whole other aspect of phobias, but I felt like these were more psychological. These are the fear of the unknown, being afraid of the dark because you don't know what's in the dark, or being afraid of large bodies of water because you don't know what's in it. This can also mean a fear of the unknown, like you don't know what's going to happen in your future. You don't know if you're going to end up with somebody, or like a surprising amount of people answered that they were terrified of ending up alone. Anyways, that's all we've got for today's episode. If you liked it, please leave a comment, subscribe, and click the little bell next to the subscribe button if you want more. I will try to post these episodes bi-weekly. If you do like the show, please leave a comment and let me know what you think. And if you have recommendations for episodes in the future, or recommendations on how I can make the show better, please let me know. I mean, obviously I'm not great at this.